All right, it's Celtics Post-Game Plus with the Celtics coming out with a 103-95 win over the Pacers, a game in which they outscored the Pacers by 28 over the final 21 minutes in order to get the win, because they were down by 20 early in that third quarter. Joe Mazzulla going to his bench to get things started, and that's how he got his 200th win tonight. It's the coach's press conference, and it's presented by Amica Insurance, the exclusive auto, home, and life insurance partner of the Boston Celtics. Here is Joe Mazzulla back at TD Garden.
Joe, obviously, third quarter there, you just given up 3 offensive rebounds. You call a timeout. You pull all the starters. What were you seeing in that moment? What was that huddle like, and what made you run with that group in the third quarter?
I mean, we always talk about depth, and that we always have 12, 13 guys that can be able to help us win games at any different moment. So I just thought it was a good opportunity to utilize the depth that we have. And, you saw a game where depth comes in many different ways, and that's it. At any point in time, everybody on our bench can impact winning, and so it was just a great opportunity to take advantage of the depth that we have. And I thought those guys did a great job just kind of changing the pace of the game.
And you have, once again, Luka coming in and playing almost the entire second half, and Ugo doing the same thing. I mean, what about those two? Now, 2 games in a row now with these two guys have come in and completely given you a huge boost of energy.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's part of the depth that we have. I mean, 82 games is a long time. The season's long. The standard that we have to play at, the effort that we have to play at is hard. It's difficult, and we need everybody to be able to do it. And so there's been stretches of the season, where guys have done that for us. And right now it's Luka and Ugo, doing a little bit of that. But I think Ant has been really good for us the last couple games as well, and he gets kind of put under the radar a little bit. But I thought some of his scoring stretch tonight and where he's grown defensively helped that unit as well. So again, any night it could be anybody on the bench, and we just have to keep taking advantage of that. And that's a credit to those guys.
Joe, you guys entered the day 16th in defensive rating, but second in points per game. You forced turnovers this year. Where are you at on your defense and how it's played lately in this season overall?
16th in actual. I think we're 4th or 5th expected, and a lot of that has to come with our defensive rebound percentage. And we just got to continue to get better at our first shot, points per shot. Our points per shot is really good defense. Our first shot defense is good. We got to do a better job taking care of rebounding the basketball, and then the times where it's not been at our best, it's been because of our live ball turnovers.
And in this game, first half, they hit a lot of shots. Did you feel good about the process you guys were in, and they were just hitting those, and what did change in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, Indiana's the type of team where I think it was both. I think if you allow them to hit those shots and be comfortable, they're a really difficult team to turn off. They're a very high rhythm team, and so I thought we gave them some open ones that allowed them to get into that rhythm, and once they got into their rhythm, it kind of snowballed. So it was both. It's a little bit of them, but a lot more we could do to control it.
Joe, you guys have been preaching the stay ready group and staying ready in general for a really long time, but this year you've had more opportunities to actually give guys that are 12, 13 on the bench a chance. Are nights like tonight kind of affirm everything you're preaching and make it easier almost for that message to hit? Or how do you think about that, the fact that you have opportunities where bench turned the game around tonight?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not just tonight. I mean, it's been like that all season. I mean, Josh has started, Jordan has started, Ugo has started. We've went small, we've went big. Guys have finished games. I mean, we've played multiple lineups. So I mean, it's not just tonight. It's been the entire season, really. I think tonight you saw it in its biggest form because it was 4 different guys Ugo was in. I think it was just and they played a long stretch. So no, I mean, it's been happening almost the entire season as we continue to chip away at the identity and the standard that we have to play at. So, I mean, Baylor was great tonight on some of he took the charge and then the transition 3. So, tonight is obviously fresh in everyone's mind, but it's been going on throughout the majority of the season.
And because it has, All
right, so with the win, the Celtics now 18-11. Just 2.5 games behind the New York Knicks and a game clear of the Philadelphia 76ers. The Indiana Pacers continue on to 6-23 on the season. Again, same 2 teams going to be matching up in just a few days here on Friday in Indianapolis. Tom Giles, Chris Forsberg with you now. We keep talking about what the bench did in that 6-minute window there in the middle of the third quarter. When Joe made that move, though, and took the starters out, I mean, it's risky, as you kind of termed it.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that third, they responded well, though, when they got their chance later in the game. And Scal kind of put it out there tactically, then it also gives you a rested starting unit coming on the floor.
Think about how many times can you do that in a season? Once, twice? It doesn't work every time. At some point, it rings hollow. But I think it's good on the way the starters took it. They understood. They weren't playing with the right intensity level. They let the Pacers, even if you just want to chalk it up to hot shooting, they let them build that big lead. And they knew whenever they got back in there, they had to really take it to another level. And, that shows a lot of maturity from everybody. The bench could have gone in there and fizzled. And, then the starters don't have any juice coming back either. So it just all goes hand in hand. I really like the way that this team is able to pick. Everybody kind of picks each other up in these moments. And even like Joe said, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about Anthony Simons. Tonight felt like the biggest buckets he's hit as a Celtic in terms of, in that moment, you just needed a little bit of an offensive jolt. So you got it from everybody.
Did it feel like that was the most, I don't know. That felt like a real natural, those possessions and everything else. It just felt like everything was running much more smoothly.
Yeah, it just, and again, some of it is you just need guys who wanted to go out there and make good things happen. And Simons was part of that. And you needed some offense in that little stretch. So it's what a luxury. We came into the season saying, how much would the Celtics be able to lean on their depth? And behind Jaylen and Derrick and Peyton, what could you count on? And it's been a revelation that Jordan Walsh has been as good as he has, but you don't have him tonight. And so now you got to go even deeper into your depth. I mean, Garza was sitting there not even playing for a good month, and now all of a sudden he's in there and just playing his butt off. So ultimate respect for guys for staying ready, being ready, just answering the call. And I don't think the starters will have another instance like that for a while where they just limp into it. They'll know better than to come out lame like that.
All right, Luka Garza absolutely leaves everything on the floor. He still, though, has enough energy to answer some questions back in the locker room. The Experience from the Locker Room is presented by Experience Abu Dhabi. Discover more about the incredible city at visitabudabi.ae. Here is Luka Garza.
How was it felt to get these opportunities the last couple of games and the couple of weeks that you were out of the rotation? How did you handle that and try to prepare for these opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, when you're on the outside looking in, you want to get back in there as much as you, there's a huge heightened awareness and heightened urgency when you do get that chance. But, I just, have faith, trust a guy. I got a lot of good people around me to just kind of push me and keep my mind right. And, I've said this before, but that's the position I've been in most of my career, on the outside looking in, waiting for an opportunity. And I think that helps me, that I have so much experience with it. So it's nothing I haven't seen before. And, but the cool thing about this was I knew it was coming back, just the way Joe is and mixing it up all the time. And that's what I've always wanted, in the past and haven't been able to, get in there unless there's an injury or two guys are down or, whatever it is. So, I knew it was coming back. It was just a matter of time. And I just wanted to make sure when I got that chance that I went out there and did everything I could to help the Celtics.
What's the communication process through that? Are you getting feedback from the coaching staff? Is Joe talking to you during those weeks? What kind of things are you working on through that?
For sure. I mean, I think he's kind of made sure we all know that, he's going to use every player in his locker room at one point or another. And, there's going to be stretches where he leans on different guys, but he likes to lean into the depth that we have. And so you kind of understand that. But yeah, there was conversations with Joe. He's always checking on me. And then also just with, DJ, who I work with, kind of just, watching some of the film of the stretches that I had and, kind of talking me through everything. And, just for myself, I just, in those moments, I just, stay in the gym. I stay ready. And keep myself in shape, so I can go out there. Your name can get called at any point, and you can change everything. In one game or in 3-4 game stretch. So.
As for tonight, Joe went with a full bench group less than 3 minutes into the second half. What was the mindset of that group?
Just create havoc, just junk up the game, try to get some pressure on them, make the little plays, the effort plays. I think we had that lineup out there in Toronto or very similar, with me, Baylor, Ugo, and, whoever else was out there, or Ant was out there as well. Just kind of going out there and playing as hard as we can, and just trying to turn the game around. now. And, I think there was, sometimes, I feel like we just kind of jolted, the game and our energy and, effort. And then, everybody came in and took care of the rest. And JV was unreal down the stretch. And, that's, it's a team game. Not every night is every player going to have it, to start the game or whatever. It's the NBA. There's a lot of games. And so we all rely on each other. That's a part of team basketball. We rely on each other to pick the other person up when they're down and then get them the rhythm, and then they go. And, I think tonight we did that.
This is kind of a dumb question, but everybody knows on the other team.
All right, Luka Garza, again, with 6 points, 9 rebounds. A very clean stat line for him across the board. Checking out the drain of the game, brought to you by John Stewart and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. That was Hugo Gonzalez finding Derrick White for the 3. The offensive rebound, the hustle, and Pritchard finds White for the 3. Again, that got the Celtics within 1. They would force a 24-second shot clock violation on the next trip down the floor after Jaylen Brown got that big block, tying it all together. They get the win 103-95. And again, same two teams will be going at it on Friday. Actually, when we come back here, we're going to go further into Jaylen Brown having yet another 30-point game as he finished with 31 in this one, doing most of that damage in the fourth quarter. More Celtics postgame plus coming your way after this. Game that's all about the dunk. Payton Pritchard finding Nimi Keita in the first half on the alley-oop right there. They hooked up a couple times on this lob. Great lob. And the Celtics, though, somehow still trail by 18 at the break. That's because the Pacers couldn't miss a 3. And then the Celtics eventually got back into it, and we have the turning point presented by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Turn it around, take control. It's possible. The solution for weight loss. Reserve your concept at awaken180weightloss.com. Jaylen Brown came up with a huge block on one end. That was a 24-second violation. Then muscles Pascal Siakam to the bucket. That gave the Celtics their first lead right there at 85-84. And again, Jaylen Brown had 13 points when he came back into the game with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Chris Forsberg rattled off another 18 points and finished with 31. So it's not just that it's the 7th straight game for him to get to 30-plus. They needed him to take over the way he did, and he did so by attacking the rim in that fourth.
And it took us like 51 minutes to get to Jaylen Brown.
No, we got to it earlier.
We touched on it, and look, the streak he's on is pretty impressive. Like I said, I wondered how the whole starter group would respond, but you could tell, like they were into it as the bench was chipping away at that lead, but that they needed to come in and do their part. And Jaylen was just sets up shop underneath that basket. Again, even on that one that we saw where he was just patient. He knew Siakam was on his back. He just waits for the right moment, goes up. The only thing that went wrong for Jaylen Brown in the second half was when he tried to have the poster dunk of the century, and the ball shoots 90 feet the other way because he tried to throw it down so hard. I love the aggressiveness that Jaylen is playing with. He seems to know on a night-to-night basis whether it's the three-point shot or the mid-range just isn't working, when to be more aggressive. He felt like he could get to the basket. No true kind of big man on that back line. Wasn't afraid to go at Siakam. Seems to feed off that matchup. And then right there, just like, again, like he could have leaned in a little too early. Just so patient, waiting for things to develop, get guys off their feet, and then just kiss it off the glass.
And then this one.
And then, I mean,
the corner 3.
This is when you know you're feeling it. When you just keyed the best rally of the season. The basketball gods sometimes let you throw in some chaos from the corner. And man, the Pacers are probably sick of seeing Jaylen Brown at this point.
Well, it's different circumstances right now for the Pacers compared to where it was a couple of years ago when Jaylen Brown did that to him. That was game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics needed that 3 just to get back into the game. This one gave them that 96-91 lead, but they were able to close it out as well, Chris. And again, Jaylen Brown, a huge part of that, finishing with the 31 points, 9 rebounds, couple assists as well. And now the Celtics, for the first time in a decade, will have Christmas Day off.
So weird.
They'll be playing on the 26th against the Indiana Pacers. And it's the Pacers, but it's also the start of a 5-game road trip.
So a couple things. I think it's going to be weird for the Celtics. I think they'll enjoy the fact that they get to wake up on Christmas and be at home, and the first chance for a lot of these guys to spend Christmas Day with their families and their kids, and that's great. But it's also going to be, you're going to turn on the rest of the league playing in 5 marquee games, and you're not part of it. And I think there's some of it like, they didn't think you were going to be that good this year, that you didn't deserve to be on the NBA's biggest day of the year. So I think they'll use that as a little bit of motivation. And then the flat Indiana, and we know how it is. It's tough to beat the same team back-to-back whether it's consecutive nights or spread out over 4 days, you got to find a way to bring it. And we'll see, like, if anybody else is back on the court for the Pacers, if McConnell's back, changes the equation a little bit. And so the Celtics have to be better than what we saw for much of tonight, especially in the first half. But it's like the first stop, then you go to Portland. And, I mean, this is a long road trip, 5,003 miles.
Yeah. What a win for the C's. And again, this is an Indiana team that's 6-23 that struggled, but they weren't missing in the first half. Led by as many as 20 before the bench came in and turned things around. Jaylen Brown took over and the starters iced it, got the win for the C's.
Most fun win of the season?
I think so. That's my vote. You got my vote for it. All right.
We got a podcast to do, but
for everyone else,
Merry
happy
Christmas,
holidays,
everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
We'll catch you guys in a couple days.